Relief for Patricia de Lille, who remains Cape Town mayor. The Western Cape High Court handed down judgment in the de Lille bid to challenge her removal by the Democratic Alliance.
Cape Town Mayor Patricia de Lille has won another round against the DA, but has she won the war? The High Court ruled that de Lille must keep her position as mayor. This is pending a full case on May 25th, 2018. Suspension of a DA membership is also set aside.
Pending the hearing of Part B of this application, the notice of First Respondent's Federal Executive to the effect that the applicant has ceased to be a member of First Respondent is suspended and will have no force and effect, and the effect thereof is that the applicant shall remain in office as Executive Mayor of the Third Respondent and the Mayoral Committee as it was constituted on 8 May 2018 will continue to function. B. The cost of this application will stand over for determination by the court hearing Part B relief.
De Lille hopes they can move forward on a more positive note.
We must now begin to find a solution to this long protracted fight between myself and the DA. I really think now it's up to the leadership of the DA to make a decision whether we continue to fight like we are doing now, or we put the people of the city of Cape Town first. And we agree to work together to fight for the people of the city of Cape Town.
Democratic Alliance role players deny that there is a racist agenda behind the party's bid to remove de Lille.
The judges agreed with the actual crux of the matter, which was that Patricia de Lille did in fact tender her resignation, her intention to resign on the UCBS Makaiser show. The judge made that very clear. Also, what the judge made very clear is in the interests of the city of Cape Town. He is instructing that the status quo remains until the actual crux of the matter, which is Part B, is heard next Friday.
There's been this race narrative that people are driving, that de Lille is actually, being kicked out by a few couple of white people. And they were very angry with that, and that is why they decided to call a press conference to clearly indicate that 70% of the people who have lost confidence in her are not white people. And so they had to share their own experiences, and why they lost confidence in Patricia de Lille. So it is a very difficult situation because this has been coming in for some time now.
Meanwhile, Patricia de Lille must face party discipline amid various allegations against her. With Nasipi Sam in Cape Town, Bureau Report, Afro Worldview.
Now joining us on the story is ANC Western Cape's Xolani Sotashe, who joins us via Skype, as well as Walid Brown, attorney at Werkman's Attorneys, who joins us via the telephone. Gentlemen, thank you very much for your time. Perhaps to start with you, Xolani. Now, Patricia de Lille is mayor again. Some say today's ruling is no surprise. But what's your take, nevertheless, as the ANC, you're members of the council, and then we had the DA now releasing a statement beyond the judgment saying that she'll be a ceremonial mayor?
Well, Mfundo, we are not surprised as African National Congress. We always maintained that the city capture agenda will be defeated in each and every court that the DA will approach. Because what we are witnessing in Cape Town is a toxic and mercenary power metrics that are taking place, which is organized chaos by the Democratic Alliance itself. Create a smokescreen where they create an impression that there is a chaos. We know very well that they are under pressure to deliver to the promise that they made to Israelis, because they've promised Israelis that they will be milking the city of Cape Town through the water crisis that they declared that there will be day zero in Cape Town. So it's unfair for people of Cape Town to be finding themselves through this chaos that has been created by the Democratic Alliance. So we are once again, as the African National Congress, we've been vindicated. The decision of Ian Nelson declaring himself or anointing himself as an acting mayor, we told him that it's illegal and we reject it. Each and every decision that he has taken, those decisions are null and void. We will go back to council because we expected the speaker to call a special council to debate these developments that are taking place in the city of Cape Town. But unfortunately, the Speaker himself is conflicted because he had to be in cahoots within this cabal, this white cabal, within the Democratic Alliance that is that is creating havoc within that administration.
Now, Xolani, you go on to talk about a white cabal. We actually just heard from Bonkosi Madikizela saying there is that impression. I take it now you're also part of perpetuating the impression that it's only the white grouping within the Democratic Alliance that wants Patricia de Lille out. But they maintain that it's 70%, and it's a number of black people that also want her out.
Well, it's not an impression, it's a reality. We live here in Cape Town. We serve that council. We know exactly what is going on there in that council. There are racial undertones on the removal of Patricia de Lille. Calling a press conference is not going to resolve the problems that are there in the administration. Racism is rife in Cape Town. It's because of certain agendas that are being perpetuated by certain individuals. In fact, this cabal in the city of Cape Town is led by J.P. Smith and Ian Nelson. Ian Nelson is a commander of this cabal. He could not wait for the courts to pronounce on the matter. He took some funny decisions. I mean, even the removal of the mayor from her office was really disheartening, where he organized even law enforcement to go to the office of the mayor to chuck her staff out. Where have you ever heard that? And he just released a statement yesterday about the changes in the budget. We have not said as a council and consider the budget of the city of Cape Town. It's only the council that will ratify any changes in terms of the budget process. So you can see that this white cabal led by Ian Nelson is in a rush to make sure that they deliver to the mandate where they promise these Israelis that they will be milking the city of Cape Town. So we are saying to people of Cape Town, we are actually exposing the DA for what it is. Unfortunately, the internal battles within the Democratic Alliance are compromising service delivery. I mean, as we speak now, Scottsdene is banning. As we speak now, Vrygrond is banning. As we speak now, there are people who died in Khayelitsha because of fires. As we speak now, people in Mitchells Plain and Sikalo are fighting each other. There is no political direction from the city of Cape Town. I mean, city of Cape Town had no mayor, no mayor for a space of a week and a half. So you ask yourself, where is the leadership? City of Cape Town, as we speak, is on autopilot. In fact, what they are doing now, they are begging for National to come in and place the city of Cape Town under administration.
Xolani, I want to come back to you about the charges, the nepotism and the supposed governing with an iron fist. But let me just rope in our legal expert, Mr. Brown. Mr. Brown, what do you make of this whole situation now? We've got a back and forth even on social media. If we talk about the implications of having a situation where the Democratic Alliance is referring to Patricia de Lille as a ceremonial mayor at this point, do they have the power to even strip her of her powers beyond that judgment?
I saw that statement from the DA. I was quite surprised. The judge was quite specific and indicated that the effect of his order is that the position reverts to the position just before the federal executive of the DA took the decision, meaning that she's reinstated as mayor with all her powers as mayor. Now, the DA obviously can't rule the city of Cape Town as a political party. It's the mayor and the mayoral committee, and those powers are enshrined in the Constitution. So the DA must be very careful in terms of how they are wording their statements. They may be accused of blurring the lines between party and state.
Which is an age-old problem here when we talk about conflation of party and state. But then how can they find themselves on the right side of the law in this instance? Because they continue. I mean, I think Bantu Olomisa went on to say that they're in fact in contempt of court by just pronouncing like that publicly that she's a ceremonial mayor going forward.
No, I have to say I can see why Bantu Olomisa says that. It was for me a negligent statement on the part of the Democratic Alliance. Look, what they will have to do, I think the deputy mayor tried to clarify the situation later on by saying that the mayor retains the statutory powers and that she has the oversight power and power to review all the decisions. But that was not what the earlier statement of the DA had said. Now, her powers remain enshrined in the Constitution. She has to exercise those powers. She has to refer the decisions to a mayoral committee. And of course, like all organs of state, they take their policy decisions from the political party. But the political party cannot dictate what the outcome of those policy decisions will be when it comes to implementation by the state organ.
And now perhaps to rope in a public leadership expert from Stellenbosch University, Professor Erwin Schweller. Professor, thank you very much for your time. Your take on today's ruling and what it will really mean for Patricia de Lille throughout this period now, where she's going back, she's mayor, but if we talk about the leadership issues and just the conflict.
Well, of course, this is an interim order of the court. The matter is actually set down for the 25th of May. So in the meantime, the learned judges, based upon their wise decision-making capacity, has decided to reinstate the mayor in the interim. If you listen or read, well, it's probably not already in readable format, but if you listen to the judgment of Judge Pat Gamble, then he says that there are some factual issues, some of these things may become constitutional issues, and of course there's a lot of politicking going on this issue. I think that what is happening here is that everybody is framing the argument in terms of their interests. And because it's such a complex issue, there is lots of contestation and posturizing. So what will be final maybe in 9 months or 12 months when the Constitutional Court, as is now referred to, have decided. In the meantime, I think all of these political leaders from whichever persuasion and position should rather go and sit down and negotiate a settlement in the interest of the people. That would be the proper public leadership thing to do. They're all posturizing in terms of their own interests, and it seems as if in this whole process, the last interest that they consider, except for their own positions, pensions, and whatever that might be, framing the argument is the interest of the people, and that would be the public leadership remit. Think about the interests of the people, sit down, settle this thing, negotiate out of it, and get on with governing the city properly.
But then Patricia de Lille, though, maintains that for her, she wants to see this process to the end because she wants to clear her name. So do you really think that it would be in her interest, at the very least, to settle now? Because we would never know the truth.
Well, is that the only way of clearing her name? She has been very vocal in the media about how she wants to clear her name. There are lots of allegations, and probably if the disciplinary hearing goes on, that will also take months. So, seriously, if anybody believes that there is a shall we say, a principled politician in this whole process, and I'm now being quite outspoken, they're positioning according to their interests, and they're trying to feather their nests in whichever ways, and I'm becoming and have been quite cynical about this whole business. Sit down, negotiate a settlement. The DA can make a statement, for example, to say that they withdraw all of these accusations, and Mr. Lille can accept it, and then we go on. But that's not the point. The point is they want to posturize, they want to improve their positions. They're in there for themselves and not for us. That's basically the take on it.
But as it stands, there is a legal process that's ongoing. Just judging by everything that's happening, if perhaps the judges were to rule in Patricia de Lille's favor, do you see the DA and Patricia smoking the peace pipe?
No, I don't. I think this is broken down completely irreversibly, and it's such an acrimonious fight. And remember, if they want to settle it, there are lots of other issues in the background. There is just no ways that. Probably it's also too late for the process I'm suggesting, which is a negotiated settlement. This will go on with the courts for months. There will be no real winners. And the real losers will be clear. It will be the people of the city of Cape Town and good governance. It has turned into a total messy situation. And I think, as I say and repeat, it's not about us anymore, it's about them.
Now, speaking of good governance, Mr. Sotashe, being a member of the council, there were accusations or allegations against Mayor Patricia de Lille. of nepotism. There were also allegations of governing with an iron fist. Have you experienced that, in as much as she was not your caucus leader, but do you find truth in that, or you completely dismiss such allegations?
Well, Nafundo, our approach has always been as African National Congress. It is a DA that is in control of the city of Cape Town. So they must take the responsibility of the failures and the successes. So they can't choose one. There is corruption that is taking place in the city of Cape Town, no doubt about it. You go to the Auditor General report, you will see that the city of Cape Town has dropped its status in terms of the clean audit. You recall that the former city manager resigned from the city of Cape Town because of the corruption that is taking place in the administration. As we speak now, the ED of TDA is on suspension because of nepotism that she was involved in the city of Cape Town and coordinating tenders for her friends and so forth. As for the mayor for herself, I mean, we are waiting for the report that will be presented by the DA instead of raising those issues outside of the administration. We have raised our concerns as African National Congress about the leadership in the city of Cape Town, including the mayor, because we never separated her from the party, because it is the party that is running, I mean, that has won the elections. It's not Lille, it's the DA. But what we refuse to do, we cannot accept a situation when elections come and gone, the Democratic Alliance as a party wants to interfere with the functioning of the administration. And I think the professor is right. This issue, I think Mazoni must really get her facts right, because she can't issue a statement that indicates that Lille will become ceremonial mayor and decisions will be taken in caucus and the caucus will run the administration. That is a multi-party institution where different political persuasion are representing their constituencies. So they can't run the city of Cape Town thinking that they are running their own spaza shop. So we will resist that, we will challenge them, we will defeat them. Once again, it demonstrates the desperation because the DA has been projecting itself as a party that is running clean governance, and they have been using city of Cape Town as a benchmark to win votes in other municipalities. They've been covering up this corruption that is taking place in the city of Cape Town.
But now, if you concede that in fact there is corruption and nepotism, why then would you vote against that motion of no confidence? Because if many talk of political leadership or taking responsibility, that you've got to then start by disciplining the person at the top.
Well, if you listen to us properly, we are saying the Democratic Alliance as a party is actually the one that is running the city of Cape Town, because what has happened is that it is the DA that has won the elections. Once you win the elections, then you deploy your public representatives to implement your policies. So you can't, as a party, directly get involved because you do have your deployees in there. So it will be wrong for us to isolate an individual, whereas we know that it is a party that has won the elections. So we are saying that people of Cape Town must wake up. They have seen it all now. They know what the DA stands for. And I can tell you right now, the issue of racial undertones on this matter of Lille has actually come to the fore. And I challenge anyone who says that there are no racist undertones, racial undertones on the removal of Lille. Lille has been making a lot of examples here that people have been breaching code of conducts of their party constitutions. But because Musi is a puppet, is not a leader, James Self and the company are running that party. And those people have been treated differently from what is happening in the city of Cape Town.
But Xolani, I'm getting confusing or mixed messages from you. I'm getting confusing statements from you now, because in one instance you're saying that the Democratic Alliance as a whole, the party there is corrupt, and that South Africans have got to now wake up and see the party for what it is. But at the same time, you're saying that perhaps there is some sort of targeting of Lille. So which one is it? They're a corrupt party and they should all be removed, or Lille is being targeted and you refuse to be used in these political issues?
No. Let me clarify the point so that we are in the same path. What I'm saying here, the DA as a party, what characterizes the DA is racism within itself as a party. You will see how they treat each other. We will see in council. I mean, we are there in that council. But what I'm saying, in terms of the council itself, the DA must take a collective responsibility of the mess and the chaos that is taking place here in the city of Cape Town. They cannot isolate an individual as if De Lille elected himself to be representing the Democratic Alliance in the city of Cape Town. De Lille, 1, was a candidate of the Democratic Alliance. 2, she was voted by the people of Cape Town to be the mayor. 3, she was appointed there in council by councillors with the majority. Those councillors happen to be the DA councillors, to be the mayor of Cape Town.
Okay, no,
so what I'm saying there now, the DA cannot be playing double standards, yes, to say when the DA is confronting failures, they are shifting those failures to the individual. When they are realizing achievements, they want to claim those achievements.
So you're saying they cannot divorce themselves from this crisis, they need to own it collectively. Perhaps now to get to the legal matters, Mr. Brown, we heard today the judge talking about the relationship between Patricia de Lille and her party being governed by voluntary association. Now this will be dealt with extensively in Part B that we'll be hearing on the 25th around the constitutionality of that recall clause. But if we just had to be preemptive, do you see the Democratic Alliance winning that Part B?
Well, the judge also made the statement that he believes that the relationship between the Lille and the DA appears to have irretrievably broke down, that he didn't think that she was currently still interested in being a member of the Democratic Alliance. And the entire argument will go around whether due process was followed in terminating the membership. And I think that's probably where the crux of the matter will be. I think once the matter goes either way, the Lille will probably no longer be a member of the Democratic Alliance should they eventually follow due process and correct process.
But then again, he also went on to talk about inconsistencies, that in as much as you are an autonomous body as a political party, your constitution cannot now be in contrast to that of the country. But he went on to say that in subscribing to membership, she agreed to that constitution, and if she doesn't abide by it, it's viewed as repudiation. But it was quite confusing, just that statement alone, that here you make your own constitution, but somehow you've got to be consistent with ours.
Let me put it this way. If on the 25th they eventually find that the clause allowing them to unilaterally terminate her membership is unconstitutional, then what the Democratic Alliance has to do, it has to then institute other internal mechanisms in order to allow her an opportunity to say why her membership should not be terminated, and after that due process they can terminate her membership. Eventually they will come around to the proper answer. They may not be successful with that particular clause on the 25th.
Professor Owen, your closing remarks on this whole debacle? We seem to have lost Professor. Perhaps, Xolani, you could give us your closing remarks on this debacle.
Well, Nomfundo, we are very worried as African National Congress in terms of what is happening in the city of Cape Town. We are running a risk now of not approving a budget of 49.1 billion on the 30th of May because of the crisis. Remember, there is a process that must be followed before the budget is adopted. We did not have leadership in the city of Cape Town for 1 week and a half, and no one was making sure that the budget is in line with the IDP. So De Lille is back now to the office. Ian Nelson released a statement yesterday making illegal decision in terms of chop and changing in the budget. Maybe De Lille will consider some of those changes are wrong and unconstitutional, illegal. And the DA also released a statement that they are distancing themselves from the draft budget. And also De Lille was saying that, well, this is your budget. And now we are worried that come the 30th of May, the 49.1 billion budget might not be approved by the city of Cape Town. In fact, they are really now begging that National really must come in and place the city of Cape Town under administration, because as it is now, it's autopilot.
No, it certainly sounds like a crisis is now looming. But as the African National Congress, what steps will you take to ensure that you have a budget that is approved? Because at the end of it all, as many are saying, ordinary people will lose out.
Well, look, there is a crisis here. I mean, it's bigger than you thought. Because here, yes. I mean, the tariffs. People of Cape Town, I'm telling you, they are organizing across the racial lines. They are rejecting this draft budget, and what Ian Nelson was trying to do now, they proposed 26% increase on tariffs within a space of a week. When Delil was not there, he started to make changes to drop from 26 to 19%, and projecting as if the person that was a problem in terms of this tariff increase is Delil. Yet Delil was telling them that you can't increase these tariffs to way above the CPI. And on top of that, the city of Cape Town is proposing to borrow over 19 billion rands to really accommodate these Israel companies in a space of a week when Delil was not there. So they reduced the amount to 14 billion rands. Even 14 billion rands is still a lot of money, because this thing is expensive. They were warned in terms of the water crisis. They did not want to listen. National came in terms of a drought relief. They are not telling people of Cape Town what they are going to do with the money that they received from National in terms of the drought relief. All they are doing, they are taxing people left, right, and center. So I'm telling you, Mfundo, it's a crisis. People can't take it anymore now. You go to all the constituencies around Cape Town, the streets are burning, people are marching every day, and they can't take it anymore.
No, it's certainly quite a crisis, but hopefully we will get in touch with the Democratic Alliance, because they're inundated with phone calls and interviews across the country following that ruling. But gentlemen, thank you very much, Mr. Brown as well, for your time this evening. Now, more news and updates on the other side of this break. Do stay with us.